What's your wildest high school secret? There's still a good pint of Jack Daniels hidden inside the ceiling from 10 years ago. I checked last year day when my nephew was graduating. Not high school, but one of my teachers opened YouTube and it was filled with sexual videos. This teacher was like 70. I was at a party in my senior year of high school. I didn't know the guy who lived there, so I didn't investigate when I smelled pot coming from the back of the house. But I did notice that among the half-dozen or so teenagers coming out that room later, a couple of adults were with them. One of them was my chemistry teacher, who seemed rather surprised to see several of his students in the room. He quietly left the party. Hey there, are you subscribed yet? Please do. Also leave a like on this video to help out the channel. No one wrote with a Sharpie on the outside of the third-story window. I did it, on the inside, mirrored. I had a really good friend in the 12th grade who had killed himself, and for the rest of the year I'm pretty sure I was the only one that had ever realized he left, so I never told anyone. I shit myself freshman year and then fell in mud on purpose and made sure everyone saw so I could say it was all dirt. My elementary school art teacher was a cool-ass hippie. She had a clay jar that said, fairy dust, on it that had glitter in it, and she'd sprinkle it on our heads. She gave us animal crackers. Smelled like patchouli. She abruptly left around when I was in 3rd or 4th grade. Apparently she had cancer, and a year or two after that, she went to a gas station, doused herself in gasoline, and set herself on fire, killing herself. Also, my elementary school science teacher was cool as duck and everyone loved him. He would bring in his pet iguana and let us have water bottles at our desks. This was a big deal in 5th grade, for sure. I thought he was so great I gave him my prized possession of dead moths that I collected. A couple of years ago he got in a fight with his adult son and his son shot him and killed him. Very small town, so it was unbelievably shocking. Kind of still is. This story is kinda gross, so bear with me. It was a day where I ordered burritos for lunch. Ate it quick and went and hanged with my friends. On our way back to our class my stomach just started hurting. I panicked and ran to the nearest toilet. I did not make it and accidentally shat in my underwear. I was mortified. Lucky enough no one was in that hall. I started panicking, thinking that someone at any moment would come there and just smell the shit, and being the only dude there, I am numero uno suspect. Entered the nearest room, which was the AV room, audio-visual room, aka room with big screen, took off my pants and saw that all the shit was just inside my boxers. Took it off and then panicked on where to throw it. There were no windows. I was desperate just to yeet this away. An idea came to me. I took the nearest chair so that I can just hide it on the ceiling tiles. So I did. Left the room, went to the toilet to clean myself up as much as I can. Was planning to sneak in at night to pick it up and properly dispose of my shameful accident, but my dumbass forgot. Next day at lunchtime, I just hear the story that the morning that day people used the AV room, then smelled something foul. One unlucky dude found the source and tried to push the ceiling tile with a broom to check what was in it like a dumbass. Poor dude took in a boxer-filled shit in the face. No one up to this day knows that it was me. Sold tons of pirated video game discs that I would torrent and burn from home. Not from a rich family, but I was a baller at school. Also sold fake bus tickets. I'm glad you are enjoying this video. Before we continue, don't forget to like, subscribe and leave a comment. Our boarding school mascot was a tree, lol, that was on the campus in a prominent spot. On mischief night, I had study hall with 2 other students. We were all sociable but not close friends with one another. We decided to completely TP the school tree, and stole loads of rolls from the library bathroom. We snuck out of our dorms after midnight, absolutely covered this mascot tree in toilet paper, and snuck back in. We didn't know the next morning was when all the new incoming freshmen visited, starting with a tour under the school tree. It also rained, so the tree was dropping globules of wet paper for days. The deans of the school flipped and asked they knew who did it, notorious senior pranksters, but couldn't prove it or punish anyone. 12 years later, I mentioned in passing to my BFF from high school that I was the T-Per, along with these 2 other random people. He was shocked, and had never for a second thought it would be any of us. Not the most wild crime, but it is satisfying to have gotten away with it. 8 kids in our senior class committed suicide. Our ancient history teacher, a man in his 60s, was busted for having a minuscule amount of marijuana, and he went nuts in class, outing parents and prominent town leaders as cocaine dealers. The school has had 4 microwaves blown up, over the course of 4 years. The first time I told a guy to put in a pack of raisins, explosion. The second time, some freshman put in bag of Sour Patch Kids, explosion. The third time, a senior put in 8 bags of popcorn into the single microwave, explosion. The fourth time, someone put some sort of metal thermos in it, explosion. Also, there have been 3 sexual encounters in only one bathroom in the 4 years I've been here. Watched the school roof get set on fire. Shooter threat. Some kid got stabbed outside the school. 4 suicides. My astronomy teacher fired for saying the N-word 13 times in one class. 5 of our band directors over the school's history have gotten fired for having relationships with students. My friend's mom was a math teacher. The summer before I was in her class, I had the brilliant idea to find notes or tests or whatever to cheat with because I was terrible at math. Whenever I was at their house, I'd try to stealthily look around. After a few visits, I was getting frustrated at finding nothing and expanded my search zone, eventually leading to the parents' bedroom once when everyone was outside. I didn't find any math notes, but did find a drawer with lingerie, toys, lube, etc. The horny part of my brain took over and I snatched a pair of lacy underwear, shoved them in my pocket, then went outside and made an excuse to go home. On the first day of school I realized, obviously, she kept all her schoolwork in the locked filing cabinets in the classroom. I managed to hide my pregnancy. I had her 2 weeks after graduation. No one in school knew. Thank God for hoodies and being a very small woman, even when pregnant. It helped that there were 5 other pregnant girls that year for people to focus on. Before school started, us marching band kids would have Heck Week, where we practiced marching band stuff all week so we were ready for the first games of the season. School picture day was also that week. That day I had gotten so stoned with the sousaphone player that I passed out waiting in line to have my picture taken. Someone's nurse mom rolled me out on a chair and gave me some water, and to this day everyone involved thinks I had heat exhaustion or something from marching all day. A kid at my high school ended up lighting his house on fire and killing his dad, brothers and some of his sisters, I think. I remember his mom and one sister were alive. His one brother, who I was kind of friends with, was over at his friend's house for the night. It was completely intentional. They found him at the hospital trying to kill his mom and sister. Maybe not a secret, but it was still wild. I didn't really have any wild secrets. My first girlfriend could fist herself, but that's not even my secret. It's not that wild, but the janitor, a friend of mine, excused me from first 2 classes in the morning, made me bed in our theater hall and let me sleep for those 2 classes. That's because I had an exam in the 3rd or 4th class and sleepless night, not studying, just bad night. I got the best mark on that exam. No one knew I slept in school. Not crazy wild, but I guess a scandal. We were juniors and one of the younger teachers, okay but like, approximately 30, lived in the apartment across the hall where we were partying. Unclear as to how he showed up, but at some point was drunk and sitting on the couch with one of the girls on his lap. That's all I recall before they disappeared together. Monday rolls around and, to no surprise, it got out. For reasons also unclear, none of us said shit when we were all grilled by the office staff. Without proof anything happened. Homeboy is still teaching there, as far as I know. I smoked cigs and drank beer with my next door neighbor teacher. She was cool. I never went inside her house and our backyards were open, no fence, so I was still at my house basically. Nothing sexual, she was not a pedo. I was a considered goody-goody, so this wasn't super wild compared to other stories. I made friends with this girl in my 9th grade science class. Turns out she was super horny, and told me like twice a month a story of a guy she had sex with, whether in the parking lot or the school bathroom. She wanted me really bad. I just didn't want to get caught. But I risked it on 2 occasions. We always partnered up for activities, and on one occasion she had me stick my hand and rub her clit. Another time she grabbed my hand, stuck it under her shirt and caressed her boob. Remember, this was in the middle of class. One day she told me if I wanted to, I can meet her after school and we can duck in the prop department. I turned her down, thinking the worst would happen. A week later I find out she was expelled for having sex with some dude on the prop department couch. Lots of people were watching, and one teacher caught wind of what was up. In the lights room in my high school's theater there was a couch that no one sat on because some tech crew got to rehearsal early and heard a couple going to Pound Town from outside the door. The room was locked, none of the students had keys, and the couple was gone when the tech head opened the door, so, no one ever found out who it was. I was the one receiving the pounding. There was a way to get to lights from backstage with an easy-to-pick lock. Snuck in, boinked, snuck out, never suspected. Some of my cousins go to my old high school and apparently the couch is still there and is still referred to as the sex couch, so that's my secret legacy. It sounds so stupid now, but in chemistry class we had a student teacher who was absolutely awful. I was actually pretty good at chemistry, but all my friends were struggling really bad with D's and F's, and the real teacher would be gone the whole period in the gym or whatever talking to his friends, so he was never around to help when student teacher wasn't making any sense. Like we wouldn't even see the real teacher for 2 weeks straight. So I made a fake email account and pretended I was an anonymous parent and emailed him threatening to report him not being in the classroom and leaving the clueless student to teach other clueless students. He did not take it well at all and wrote back a nasty email and sat the whole class down and said we are all responsible for our grades, but he did remain in the classroom and help for the rest of the semester. None of my friends ever told anyone that I know of, but I can remember trying to act so calm when he was breading the classroom. Now I can't believe I even did something so stupid like that, but I wanted my friends to pass.